This should be a very competitive match. The Canadian wrestler was 5th in last year's World Championships, and Mary Kelly was 9th in the World Championships. And it's basically just one tight loss between 5th and 9th. I mean, it's very easy to slide from one to the other. So this should be a very competitive match.
Team USA represented in the red singlet. Of course, Canada, as you can see, in blue. A nice side note for Mary Kelly from the U.S. Her father, Jerry, was an NCAA runner-up at Oklahoma State University, and her uncle, Bill, was an NCAA champion at Iowa State University. So she has some history. She was going to become a wrestler if her brother didn't, and I wonder if she's put her brother on the mat a couple times.
Well, I'm sure there's been some rug burns in that living room, no question about it. In fact, I know both her father and her uncle because they were Illinois boys, Southsiders, and in fact, I wrestled her dad when I was over the hill and in a tournament for some fun, and her dad was coming off of a state high school championship, so he was young and full of energy, and he pounded me physically. I scored all the points, but I came off the mat. Oh, that was a nice action. After some scrambling around there, that was a nice shot by the Canadian wrestler.
By the way, Mary Kelly from the U.S., you see working hard here on the bottom. 2006 U.S. World Team Trials champion, and is that an armbar?
That is. Right now, in your freestyle wrestling, and Greco for that matter, you're only given a short period of time on top, maybe 5, 10, 15 seconds. If it doesn't look like you're going to be able to turn your opponent, they'll just put you back up on the feet. They don't want too much time wasted down on the mat where if there's not going to be some scoring. So there, they stop the action, put the women back up on their feet so they can wrestle.
And it looks like Mary Kelly now has a little more energy than she did at the start of this match, maybe a little more aggressive.
Well, she has to be now because she's down 1-0, and if there's no score in the remainder of this period, the Canadian wrestler will win the first period. If Mary Kelly can tie it with a takedown, the last point scored in a tie period, the period goes to that wrestler. But there it is. That's the clock for the first period. That was a nice pick right there. Right hand up on the neck, left hand down on the heel, tripped her backwards.
And again, just like the men, very good athletes here. These ladies are very strong, very quick, very agile. We'll go on to period 2. Very important to note here as well, you mentioned this before, Mark, the points are not cumulative, so you can't add the points from the first period to the second period and have a winner. You need to win 2 individual periods.
That's correct. Period 2, which has just begun, is 0-0 right now. So the points from the prior period, whether it's 1 or 5 or 6, they do not count towards the second period. You start fresh. So right now, Mary Kelly has to win this period in order to force a third and deciding period. If the Canadian wrestler wins the second period, the match is done.
And Carol Huynh working very hard here. She has a list of accolades. The accomplishments that she has throughout her wrestling career are huge. I mean, they run down the page. And right now, it looks like Mary Kelly trying to get in on a... it might go the other way.
That was a good scramble. That was an excellent shot and an excellent counter. That was a really nice scramble with no points awarded. Yeah, the Canadian wrestler is 26. Mary Kelly is 23. She's done a lot with those extra 3 years as far as getting experience and wrestling around at different tournaments around the world. Oh, that was a very nice shot underneath Mary Kelly. If she just pushes her off, and there we go. The Canadian wrestler had the leg, pushed Mary Kelly off the mat, and gets a point for it. You don't even need to finish the move in freestyle or Greco. If you are in on the attack, all you have to do is shove your opponent off. It's up to the opponent to make sure they circle or stay in the center of the mat. That's the way the scoring is.
As you mentioned before, it's called a push-out. So excellent job there. And right now, Carol Huynh in command of this match.
Yes, Mary Kelly has to score at least 1 point right now to tie up this period.
30 seconds.
She's got 30 seconds, and she's at the point now where she has to try just about anything, even if it loses her some points, because otherwise the match is over.
Very calculated nonetheless. You can't just go wild. You can't go crazy.
15.
At this point, our Canadian wrestler doesn't have to do anything other than maintain good position and block any shots that come in from Mary Kelly.
Down to the final few seconds of this match, and it will be over, and that's going to do it right there. Another nice shot by the Canadian, Carol Huynh, and she will take the win here in this first exhibition match between the ladies.
The win goes to Canada's Carol Huynh.
The Canadians take the first match of the night, and we have the instant replay of that final takedown where the Canadian wrestler gets in underneath and takes her off the mat.
Well, I'd never seen it before. I wrestled in high school, but I've never seen women wrestling. It's gotten more and more popular. First of all, congratulations, Carol, on victory.
Thank you very much.
Now, a lot of people at home want to know, and you've heard this question a million times. You've answered 1,000,001. How did you get started in wrestling?
Well, I started in high school, and I just had a lot of great people support me, and I had a great coach, and who totally was an advocate for women's wrestling, and I probably wouldn't have been in this sport without him. So, here's you, Joe Sullivan.
Well, you've certainly got a great resume going. Thank you very much for coming out here to Evanston and showing the exhibition.
Thank you.